Why did Napoleon fail in his invasion of Russia? In 1812, Napoleon launched a massive invasion of Russia with an army of over 600,000 soldiers gathered from across Europe. But why did he do it? It wasn't just about conquest, it was also an economic war. Napoleon had conquered much of Europe, but couldn't defeat Britain. The British Navy was too strong, preventing any direct invasion. So Napoleon tried another strategy: economic pressure. In 1806, he introduced the Continental System, a large-scale economic blockade. He forced European countries under his control to stop trading with Britain, hoping to cripple the British economy. But many of these countries still relied on British goods, especially Russia. In 1810, Tsar Alexander I pulled out of the system and resumed trade with Britain. Napoleon saw this as betrayal, and decided to punish Russia through war. Napoleon marched into Russia with his Grand Armée, but the Russians avoided open battle. Instead, they kept retreating, burning everything behind them: villages, crops, supplies. This scorched earth strategy left Napoleon's troops with nothing. What went wrong? Distance and logistics. The French supply lines were stretched too far. It became impossible to feed and support such a massive army deep in Russia. The brutal Russian winter, as temperatures dropped below freezing, thousands of soldiers froze or starved to death. They weren't equipped for the cold. Guerrilla attacks. The Russian army avoided full battles but struck constantly in smaller raids, wearing the French down. No decisive victory. Even when Napoleon captured Moscow, the city was abandoned and burned. The Russians refused to negotiate. He had no choice but to retreat. The result? Napoleon returned to France with only a fraction of his army. Of the original 600,000, barely 100,000 survived. The failed invasion marked the beginning of Napoleon's downfall. What if Napoleon had found another way to pressure Russia instead of invading? Could history have turned out differently?